Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Veramed Stories podcast. I am your host, Himesh Chauhan. Somehow, the year 2022 is already behind us. On this week's podcast, we're going to take a look back at the things that happened at Veramed in the year 2022. So, please join me in welcoming our guest this week, Emma Jones. Emma, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Himesh.
Hi. So, did you have a good break and a good new year?
Had a lovely break. Santa was very kind and had a lovely rest.
Excellent. Right. So, I don't know how, but we're in year 2023. So I thought it'd be a good idea to take a look back at all the things that happened last year, which somehow flew by and dragged by at the same time, which is, I don't know. I think that's something that happens as you get older. The first thing, obviously, was kind of coming out of the pandemic, coming back into the offices, which was great, and just trying to adjust to the new normal. Like, how did you sort of feel this time last year, really?
I was skeptical about coming back to the office. I found I actually enjoyed working from home during the lockdown period, and like many people, wasn't sure what it would be like to be back in the office. But that very quickly changed, and I realised how much I'd missed from seeing people, from the interactions I get from not just people I have meetings with, but from everyone in that office environment. So I really started to enjoy coming back, and I came back to the office on a full-time basis, which I didn't think I was going to. And that's something that I enjoyed. And I think as a business, we then really needed to work out how we could support everybody in their own decision in terms of what they were comfortable doing regarding remote working, office working, or a combination of the both. That's, I suppose, been an ongoing topic of discussion throughout the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's weird because over the first lockdown and the second lockdown sort of thing, I got used to working from home, like you said. And then once you go into the office, I forgot how much I missed the general sort of chit chat and just like making a tea together, and having a little chat. And yeah, I very quickly went from sort of like 1 or 2 times a week to the office to full time just because I was like, yeah, I forgot about this. There was a period where everybody was kind of getting used to it of what can I get away with? Can I give you a handshake? Can I hug you, sort of thing? And I think now everyone's back to normal, which is lovely. And then, unfortunately, one of the things that happened was the situation in Ukraine. And as I'm sure all our listeners know, we do have an office in Ukraine. How was that going from sort of one global pandemic to another sort of like massive global thing that obviously yourself and Matt had to think very hard about? And it's an unprecedented situation, really.
Well, I suppose no one was prepared. No one could be prepared, and we found it ourselves personally very difficult to see the events that unfolded and think about how we needed to support those people in the Ukraine who needed us and needed whatever help we could get, not least the reassurance that we were there. And we offered additional financial support. We offered support for people that wanted to relocate, but just being able to listen to what they needed, as I said, reassure them that we were there and not going to abandon them as well, I think was important. But it's not a situation that Matt, myself, or the rest of the leadership team had ever thought we would be in. And we've also been sort of learning how to go about supporting people through this time as well. So it's been difficult, but also the show of support from people across the business, and having seen I suppose, the resilience, the determination of the Ukraine team to continue to support their projects and to support each other. It's been amazing. It's been very, very inspiring. And obviously the challenges continue, and we're in regular communication, contact with the Ukraine team, and constantly evolving how we're trying to support them in the best way. So we obviously hope, like everyone, that things start to get better for those guys for this year.
Yeah, and I just want to sort of just reiterate what you said. Like it has been very inspiring, and just working with Ukraine team on various projects throughout the year, and their attitude towards everything has just been, like you said, inspiring, like remarkable, and like really motivated because they just get on with it. They're just, I've had a morning meeting where they're just like, oh, sorry, there's some missile just gone off, or there's a siren going off, and just act as if it's normal, and it's remarkable, really, and the strength that they've all shown has been fantastic. And everything, well, everybody's been doing at Veramed to support them, and like all the various charitable things that we've done to help them as well. I hope we continue and we can get them out of the situation soon.
One of my actual memorable moments was an all-staff meeting that we had just after the news of the war had broken out, and nearly everybody in the company had changed their backdrop to the Ukrainian flag as a show of support. And we just had a moment or two of silence where we just, I think, were all sending our thoughts, best wishes to the team. And that image actually has really stuck with me for the past year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think they just throughout the whole year, I think all the support that everybody throughout the whole business has shown the team has been incredible. And even when Anastasia she flew over for the conference and things like that, just speaking to her in person and all the help that she was doing over there with supporting various charities and all the kids over there, it's just incredible. Like I keep saying the same word, but like it was very inspiring. Like it was incredible and very moving. So another thing that Veramed have done this year, which I've seen personally, is the increase in sort of trainings and like sort of changes in sort of processes and things like this. So is this sort of a conscious effort that you and Matt took this year, like as the offices were opening up, or was it just something as Veramed was growing?
I suppose every year as Veramed has grown, we do make a conscious decision to think where we can do better, where can we improve, where can we invest in the company more so that we're constantly feeling like we're ahead. So this year is, I suppose, no different to others. We continue to invest in processes, look for ways that we can be smarter, more efficient about things, where we can improve and offer more training. So again, this year we've seen a rollout of even more trainings from the ones that we've had in previous years. So I think it's a continual evolution, it's a continual improvement. We don't ever really look back at the end of the year and think that we've achieved everything, because I think there's always more that we could be doing. There's always more things, areas that we could tackle next. It's like a never-ending computer game. As soon as you get to the end of one end of level, the whole new level, whole new world opens up. And I suppose that's how we've always viewed each year of Veramed. It's the new year that opens up the new issues, the new problems, the new challenges, the new exciting things to tackle.
Yes, exactly. And as the company as well was just expanding, like there's probably problems that you didn't realize that might be a problem, or gaps that you need to fill as the company evolves, which is fantastic, really.
I suppose just on that though, so growth provides opportunity as well.
Yes.
And I think there's something we reflect on quite a bit, particularly for people that have been with Veramed for a long time, that we are always looking to continue to evolve and to grow and to improve, and that provides opportunity for Matt and I to grow, as well as for everyone else in the organization. If we get to the end of one year and just think, do you know what, that's it, we've finished, we've achieved it, we've made it, then that means that people are going to outgrow Veramed,
Yeah.
and therefore will look elsewhere to find their next challenge and opportunity. So it's important for us that we do still grow in the right way, in a manageable way, in a way that is protected and keeps the culture, keeps the values that we started the company with. So that's always how we approach each year with that in mind.
Yeah, and that actually brings us on nicely onto our next bit. This year's graduate training program, the biggest intake yet. And yeah, it was lovely having just a whole bunch of fresh faces just come in into the office. Just it felt like very lively again. How did you sort of feel about how the graduate training program's gone and how it's sort of changed throughout the years?
Yeah, so this year was, as you said, the biggest to date, and also the first one back in person where we've been remote. And again, I think it for us also re-emphasized the importance of in in-person training, in-person interactions and support for not just the graduates, but for people that are more junior in their careers, the value that everyone can bring and support each other. So, I think the team were nervous about the bigger intake this year, the additional stress that might put on different parts of the business. But the planning that goes into it, I can't underline how much planning and organization that goes into the program before the first day that a new cohort starts meant that it was, I suppose, really setting up for success. So it we've just now completed the that 2022 program, and it's we're already now looking on to 2023. So that cohort's finished. We take away learnings from each year group, and we again look at what adjustments, what improvements can be made, what additional trainings can we add to the program, and how can we do better? How can we potentially do more? So I know that the team are already now looking ahead to 2023.
Yeah, me too, to be honest. I quite enjoy having just a whole bunch of fresh faces and just livens up the office a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives the excuse to do more socials as well, which is something which over the last 2 years during lockdown, we've obviously had all these online interactive socials and things like that just to keep the team together and things like this, but nothing beats an in-person social, and that's definitely something that I personally have enjoyed this year. We've done well, just within the Twickenham office, we've been go-karting, played golf, like we've done loads of different things. And how was that for you, like coming back and experiencing all this stuff again?
Again, I think that's tied in with the coming out of the pandemic, returning to offices, the return of socials, still having some virtual socials to keep us connected to our remote working colleagues, but
Yes.
as well as having opportunities for a lot of face-to-face, in-person interactions and socials, and seeing the different friendships that start because of that. So we then were able to hold our 10-year anniversary get together in the summer, which was the biggest sort of in-person social that we've been able to hold to date, and a really nice way to mark and celebrate 10 years of Veramed, which felt did was a really nice celebration and a really nice moment to reflect for Matt and I, and at times did get a bit emotional, just seeing everyone come together and celebrating, I suppose, the Veramed that has come to today.
Was it quite surreal for you to know that, like, 10 years ago there was only a company of two and now we're like 300 people all together, or however.
Yeah, very surreal.
Yeah,
My
it
mum and
must be.
dad still don't believe me.
That's fair enough. That was fantastic social because we got to meet everyone through all the offices, remote workers, people who are based in sort of Germany, Spain, everywhere across the globe, really. And it's always nice meeting someone face to face, that someone that he's been speaking to for such a long time over video calls and things like this. And it was a fantastic weekend. Luckily, our social team don't have to wait. Got at least another 10 years before I have to reorganize and replan something like that again, because the logistics of that, fair play to them.
Yeah, no, it was a big undertaking, and of course, whilst we were able to bring most people together, obviously we couldn't bring the Ukraine team over,
Yeah.
which was really sad because it was something that we had been planning for them to come over at the beginning of the year as well. So we will hold that thought and hopefully find another opportunity at some point to celebrate a belated event with them.
Yes, no, definitely. It'll be great to see all of them. And quite honestly, they deserve it. So it'll be lovely to do something. And just another excuse to have another great big party again, which is always fun. So, as we mentioned briefly just then, obviously Veramed has grown tremendously over the last 10 years. And one of the things I've noticed from listening to the podcast and various podcasts that I've done is a lot of people love it. All the other people who are working here, the flat structure, the fact that they can talk to anyone within the business at any level. One of the things that Veramed is doing as we're getting bigger and bigger, I say we, yeah, you hired a chief people officer, Tom, recently. So would you be able to sort of go into a little detail on the intentions of that role and what's to come?
So, as you said, we've been growing and evolving over the past 10 years. And as a people business, and a business that really aims to put people at the heart of everything that we do, we recognized about a year ago that with the growing company, what we really needed on our leadership team was someone who could continue to champion, to lead, and to represent all of our people related initiatives and work streams that we already have them in place. We have, as we've already mentioned, a strong graduate scheme, a lot of investment in training, and many more of those things besides. But what we didn't have was a natural owner now sitting on our exec team. And we searched very hard. We probably spent about 6, 7, 8 months really looking for the right person who we felt understood what we are trying to build, what we're trying to achieve, and that could join us and continue to help us build an even better Veramed. So we're really delighted that our Chief People Officer joined us at the end of 2022. And he's already getting under the skin of Veramed and helping us continue in our journey forward. So there'll be lots more to come besides, and I'm sure he will make an appearance on this podcast at some point over the year.
I've already asked. Yeah. That's really great because it's something that as the company is getting so much bigger, you need these sort of things in place. And this time, in 10 years' time, like you'll see the fruits of everything and it'll be wonderful. Right, Emma. So thank you very much for joining me on this podcast and giving us a sort of retrospective of 2022. I'm sure that we've got lots more things planned for Veramed in 2023. I know, obviously, we've got the various conferences and everything else. So I'm sure this time next year, we'll be having the same conversation again of like, what happened last year? So thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Yeah, thanks, Himesh. I think it's nice. It provides an opportunity to, as you said, to look back, to reflect. It's been a year, as always, that has many highs, but also some lows, some challenges, but we work through them as best we can with putting, the people really at the forefront of all the decisions and discussions that we have, to think about, as I said, how can we continue to do more and to be better than what we are today. So 2023 will be, I'm sure, more of the same.
Yes, I hope so as well. Yeah, no, because obviously, like, you got to be on your toes. You can plan only so much, and then there's all these other factors around that are just unexpected. But it's got to keep moving, keep the positive attitude, and there's just the support from all the staff members and everyone in and outside of the business, really. And it's been fantastic to see last year. Thank you all very much for listening. If you'd like to be notified for any future episodes, please subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, or whichever podcast platform you are using. If you'd like to know more about Veramed, please visit our website at veramed.co.uk, or you can find us on LinkedIn. If you have any questions about Veramed, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm always happy to help. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at We Are Veramed. Thank you all very much for listening, and until next time, goodbye.